This is your writer, Anthony L. Kelly, right here. Check it out. These are my books. Mac, Jaja, book, Sunshine. And this is my first book published, Saving Miss Caroline. And this is my latest, El Manic. Go check this book out, man. This is a nod at hip-hop on its 50th anniversary. This is a nod to one of the illest MCs to ever do it, Nasir Jones. This is me shedding the light on mental illness. I'll leave all the links in the description box. Salute to everybody who's ever supported me, man. Y'all go support your boy, Anthony L. Kelly. Check till next time.
I want to transition a little bit. In the beginning of our conversation, you talked about how you were getting younger. You talked about your health. You talked about working out, eating right, and being a little more conscious of your body and just your health overall. We've seen what Jamie Foxx went through over the last month, and luckily, given the news reports, allegedly he's doing a lot better. He's in a rehabilitation center. He's looking to do his show and get back to his career. Thank God, everybody, or he's okay. Because at the end of the day, that's all we cared about. But let's talk about just health when it pertains to Black men in America as a whole. The diet is completely different than what we were accustomed to having early on. The way that we live, the stress levels that we go through. There's a multitude of things that we deal with as Black men that could put our health in very compromising situations. So just speak on that a little bit. What you thought of the Jamie Foxx situation and health overall as Black men.
Yeah, and I'm praying for Jamie and asking the ancestors and the divine to continue to bless his recovery, him and his family. He's a beautiful brother, great artist, great performer. But we are under a lot of stress in this culture and have been for centuries. And so when I was talking to the brother Maurice, and we were trying to look at what is affecting us most. And so I wrote down some stats on the health of the African-American male. And the number one killer is the heart attack. And, within the context of heart attack is strokes.
Yes, sir.
And that's 23.7%.
Man.
The number two killer of Black men is cancer. That's 26.2%. Unintentional injuries like a car accident and other kinds of accidents, that's about 7%. And what shocked me was high blood pressure is only 1.6%. I thought that would be much higher.
Yeah.
Right? Kidney disease is about 2%.
Wow.
Diabetes, especially type 2 diabetes, is about 4.7%. And stroke comes in at about 4%. Okay. And so a lot, though, the heart disease, the cancer, the stroke, the diabetes, the kidney disease, a lot of this has to do with diet and exercise and stress. Those three months. And with stress probably being at the top of the list, and diet would be definitely second. Yeah. So even at this age, at 77, I'm beginning to move more towards being a vegan. So I'm still hanging on to the fish. Every now and then on a holiday, I'll chop on some bird. You know what I'm saying? But most of the times, I'm moving more towards being a vegetarian and splitting that between cooked vegetables and raw vegetables. And I'm seeing the marked difference. Drinking multiple kinds of herbal teas, which my big brother is helping his little brother. My big brother's 86. He's healthier than I am. He's a lumberjack up in Northern California. Wow. He's the coolest dude in the world. He's always been my hero. But diet is essential and important. And those stats I just gave you for 23%, heart attack killing us, cancer 26%. You can see diet directly involved in both of those in terms of cholesterol, the clogging of arteries, and that sort of thing. And the polluting, of course, of the lung, because I smoked cigarettes for a lot of years. And I only really stopped about 2 years ago, cold turkey, when I had to have knee surgery. And the surgeon would say, look, Small, I like you, but I'm not operating on you until you get the nicotine out of your system.
Wow.
Because it's going to impair your healing. So I did. I just cold turkey, bam, stopped 24 months ago. Right. And so my healing was extraordinary because I'm back in martial arts class, studying under Sensei Mo. You know, I'm back in the gym. I'm doing my 2-3 mile walking in the morning. Just not to do nothing extraordinary, just to be healthy.
Right, right.
Just to be healthy enough so I can talk to you young brothers. I met the bus today, as I do every day, and pick up my young grandson.
Nice.
To watch him. He just turned 10 years old. And a few weeks ago, and he called me 1 minute after midnight. I said, Grandpa, I'm in the double figures. And so we lost a beautiful brother today, Brother Perkins, who was a black politician in New York, and one of the few who helped Khalid Muhammad when Khalid was creating the Million Youth March.
Okay.
And we lost Perkins today at age 74. I'm blessed to be at 77 going into 78.
Oh, yeah.
And so health is essential if you're going to continue to assist the family. Health is essential if we're going to continue imparting information to the younger generation about our experience walking ahead of you. So I tell my people, move towards eating the vegetables. The more vegetables in your system, and I'm not going to lie, every now and then I break down and throw a steak in the oven.
Yeah.
But I minimize that by about 70, 80%. You know?
Good.
And I love to have a cold beer. And I love a nice Merlot. I got two
Yes,
in the wine right now. But I cut back on how much of it that I drink.
Yeah.
You know? So that I may have maybe a glass of wine once or twice a month. I may have a bottle of beer 2 or 3 times a week. And most of what I drink is just plain water.
Yeah.
You know, and having a good cup of tea once or twice a day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and doing your exercise. And you don't necessarily, I joined the gym because I want to have access to equipment, but most of my exercising I do right in my bedroom.
Yep.
You know, once you learn what's good for each part of your body, you know, and my weight, I'm 6'2" and I'm weighing it at 192, which is a good weight for that and the age. So that's just become important. And your children, your grandchildren especially, watch you. They're like, oh, Grandpa, you could do that. Grandpa, you could do 10 push-ups, 15 push-ups. Yeah, then they get down and try to show up and see if they can outdo Grandpa. But the health, and for the black male, health is essential because of the kind of crises we went through during the slavery process and the extension of that, the Jim Crow process. We suffered. The same thing with our women. And so we got to kind of catch up. And we've been doing pretty good at it, you know, but we need to do better with our health. You know, it's just significant and important that we do better with our health. And
Absolutely.
And one thing I wanted to point out that, you know, the Africans in North America, we were enslaved for a shorter period of time than any other group of Africans in the Western Hemisphere, except those in Trinidad.
Okay.
Because slavery occurred in Trinidad very late in the process. And here in America, we were not enslaved for 400 years. It was only 230 something years.
Okay.
Okay. And so that meant that we have a lot more African retention than anyone want to give us credit for.
Right.
Because nobody talks about our Creole language, which we speak in Mississippi, Alabama, Arkansas, Louisiana, South Carolina, Florida. We call it in parts of the country Gullah Geechee, and other parts we just call it Creole. But we look at other people's language retention, but we don't look at ours. But anytime you hear an African American speak English, you know we speak it different. You know?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
No matter what degree we have, we still say things like, I've been going to do something, you know, because we do that African thing of repetitive consonant when we speak a language. Only Africans do that. You know? Even though we speak English, if you really look at the grammar structure of African Americans, it sounds like we speak in English vocabularically, right? But grammatically, we're speaking English with an African grammar structure. Look at
Wow.
it.
Wow.
Look at it.
Deep.
Okay, small, understand something.
It just kind of gives you understanding. My bad to cut you off. About in school and how sometimes we relate and understood information and absorbed information in some of the school systems that we grew up in, and giving us reason as to why certain things maybe didn't articulate as effectively as they wanted to, because we were listening on a whole different level.
Right.
That's right. We didn't understand English because we wasn't speaking English.
Right.
Though we were using English vocabulary, we were still speaking grammatically our indigenous African language structure in our mind.
Yes, sir.
Definitely learned something. We're speaking to you and definitely appreciate it. Let the people know where they can find you. Let the people know where they can continue to follow your wisdom and information. And like I said, again, appreciate your time.
Professor Small, AfricanWorld.com, and just put in James.313.com. For Professor Small African World, you can find any and all things about me or www.professorjamessmall.com.
Appreciate you. Once again, we definitely appreciate you. All your knowledge and
appreciate you, young brothers.
Yes, sir.
The world belongs to you. Lead it in the most ethical and the most principled and moral way possible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Continue to do the job. Professor James Small on the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast. We appreciate you, sir. Thank you.
Right.
Yes, sir. Peace.
All right. You jumped off? Or? Oh, okay.